This is an enormous planet, lots and lots of metal as well, so Matiz taking no chances. He wants to have as optimal expansion possibilities as he possibly can. Now, one of the things I did think he would go for is lava, because I feel that docks, the counter to docks, is a control of a good choke point. Because, as Milk Dragon just said, they don't have enough DPS to really get through walls. And so if the players can control those choke points and get up walls adequately in this metal planet, I think they can probably counter Doc's harass, especially given the narrow passageways between these two bases, given where their spawn locations are.
I think you're right there. Choke point's going to be very, very important on this metal planet. If you've just joined us, welcome to Game 3 on King of the Planet, presented by ExodusEsports.com. Currently, the challenger Elodea leads 2-0 against Matiz. This is a must-win situation for Matiz as he starts off here with 2 bot factories in the light blue, just next to the equator there. Going over towards the northern pole, we see Elodea in orange, starting off getting a little bit of eco before he moves on to that second factory. Very cramped in this location right here. Very difficult to build your factories and have just enough room and not obstruct the entry and exit points from your factories as well, so you've got to be very careful with how he's building here. He's really got to expand and start using some of that extra space that's available to him.
However, given that geographical constraint, it is going to be easier to defend because the docks are going to have to channel in, and given where his commander can stay, he can just pop off some uber cannons and really get some good defense early on. But here we might see one of Elodea's early fabbers get sniped by this docks, which is having a little nosy in that general direction.
They are going up, followed by a single laser turret, so he may actually be able to get it up just in time as this docks comes over here. Not going to move any further. Not going to scoot around there for the moment. Interesting. I guess he didn't give it the move order to keep moving. I think Matiz moving on to his third bot factory, so it looks like he's really going to go for some docks rushing. And a lot of docks spamming. Still no third factory planned by Elodea. Getting up a little bit more eco. Obviously a little bit more eco-centric, I think, for Elodea. But now queuing up another 2 factories. So maybe going to speed up a little bit as we move a little bit further into the game. Perhaps to overtake Matiz in terms of production.
Yeah, certainly seems like the thing to do, but now that Matiz has queued up a whole bunch of energy as well, I think he might be getting his commander to build lots of bot factories. Though he is kind of boxed in there with the commander, so he's going to have a little bit of pathing to get out of there. Instead he goes for another eco build, so he's really focusing down on the eco. I think this could be a disadvantage, but I think both players are assuming that they haven't spawned too close to one another given the size of this planet.
I don't think they're particularly close. They've got all the obstructions as well. Even if you're not too close, there's so many choke points that you can end up congesting that you have to go all the way around the planet anyway. So you can often have more space on a metal planet just because of those choke points. Fifth planet now planned for Elodea, and more going on after that. Currently sitting on just 3 for Matiz, so he's 2 factories down right now. That's a pretty big... Oh, sorry, 1.5 factories down right now. Definitely needs to get up some more production. He is working on it, just a single engineer though. Going to be building pretty slowly as we now see docks beginning to move in on the north side for Elodea. Currently trailing 130 medal to 100. So a bit of a small disadvantage unless he starts catching up. That could become a problem later on.
Again here, Elodea kiting those docks away from the expansion defense there, giving him this small group here the option to move into that fabber. They have just sat their sentry on the outside though, but Matiz's force is still getting pushed away. Now they move in, they're going to trade off, but they aren't going to get to those expansions, which is really crucial here. I think Matiz really needs to get those expansions going, but what he needs even more is to use the commander to build factories and not P-gens, because he builds them so much faster than fabbers do, and given the factory count disparity between the players, he really needs to get cracking on those factories.
Yeah, interestingly, if we look over the army tab, both sitting on 7 factories at the moment, but 10 fabbers for Matiz, so he's got a lot of build power, but so much less units, sitting at 40 compared to 97, and Elodea coming in on the north side now, huge bunch of units. On the south, he did a great bit of raiding, taking care of some engineers, but so many units coming in on the north side, so much production so quickly from Elodea, really efficient build order as he comes in up against the commander. We're going to have to see some uber cannon to get a little bit of this pressure off right now, but Matiz already in a little bit of trouble and Eco beginning to even up and look similar between the two players. Matiz desperately trying to get out more factories and more production so that he can hold on.
Even on the downside rather, southern side there, he lost another bot factory expansion. But I think the problem was here, Matiz was not producing units early enough, and now I think Elodea has got a critical mass to just sort of go in and swamp Matiz's production and just keep his numbers higher than Matiz's, and that's all he needs to do. And what interestingly, he's going for an orbital factory way back in his base there, orbital launcher, should I say. Not a factory, but he has enough factories to keep the numbers up, and that's all he needs to do now is maintain that unit number superiority. However, as you say, Matiz is getting more factories. Looking back at the army tab there, they're still tied 9 apiece, but once Matiz really starts to get cracking on those factories, I think he realises now he just needs to focus down on the factories, but he does need the power as well as he's beginning to stall.
He is. Still actually leading ever so slightly on Eco, but a whole load of units coming in. He could be losing some of his Eco. Going to see the commander with an Uber cannon come out. Got to make sure he doesn't accidentally hit his own factory. The units actually turn around there once they see the commander. More units coming in from the right hand side of his base. Not too much to defend, but a couple of docks sitting next to their factories going to move in here just about enough to exchange fire. But they're coming straight in and running straight past, going for the Eco, going for where it's actually going to hurt. And down goes, one of those bases.
It don't quite, yeah. Down. But the Faber's going to go down though, which is another good win, just keeping Matiz on his toes. Now another good big group coming in from the southwest. That's going to take out that Faber as well once they see it. And then there's going to be an even bigger force on the south that Matiz is just going to have to try and deal with. So he's going to have to defend from 3 directions, which is not what he wants to do.
Matiz manages to win on the main defensive front, is now pushing forwards with some of his units. Those big units coming southwards from Elodea, they're going to take out all of those mechs and going to bring quite a bit of problems for Matiz as he moves forwards, managing to get a few wins coming in towards those mechs, but so much production coming straight into defend. I think he's not going to be able to do enough. A lot of his forces from his base have been sent south to deal with these group of units that have come in and actually managed to get rid of almost all of them. They've lost so many of those mechs, though 2, 4, 6 mechs, and they've been completely prevented from expanding in that direction. So Matiz here still has a chance. If he starts expanding and manages to get out in other areas and building some mechs, he'll actually be in a decent situation because both players currently sitting with 15 factories compared to 10 for Matiz, so he went absolutely overboard realising he needed it, and now has 50% more production than Elodea, so he's actually going to start catching up in terms of the number of troops they've both got on the field.
Yeah, it's definitely what he needs to do, and he's moving in some grenadiers with that. I'm not sure how good their DPS is against the docks, but I fear as though you can just swamp the grenadiers with the docks. But however, Elodea now in the orbital layer, getting out the orbital faber and orbital radar, so I think we might see some anchors, and of course given the anchors low damage, it is still enough to deal enough damage to the docks. Another game pause there from Matiz. I think he needs to consult his strategy library here.
Are you sure that's not his trash talking library for the imminent doom? It's interesting. Things looking pretty even if we take a look at the scores right now. 185 medal to 200, so not far behind in terms of medal for Matiz. He does need a bit more map control in terms of overall game stuff, but he's already moving south and rebuilding all of these mechs. Needs to secure them, needs to move over to some other mechs areas. But it's the orbital that's really going to be a problem here, because this is the one extra thing that Elodea has squeezed out that is his advantage right now. He can move in and start building those anchors, which could cause a lot of problems for Matiz, particularly if he doesn't realise what it is.
Yeah, I think Matiz isn't quite that ill-versed in orbital now. I think he does sort of get the gist of stuff firing down at you from space. And they are ready to go now, though. So let's see what exactly this fab is doing. I can't see any build orders rather ready for it just yet. I think it might just be moving into position. But here is a large group of docks, so maybe he's going to use that as his diversion. I think he has got the superior numbers here, but again, only Matiz is actually microing, so Elodea is sort of missing a few, but still got the superior numbers.
Yeah, now beginning to move in, getting pretty close to that orbital faber, and we still see no defences for Matiz to realise what's going on, so we're probably going to see that first anchor go up before Matiz can actually work out what's coming in. He's going to be totally entertained with these docks that are coming in and causing him to micro and deal with this threat. Let's see where that orbital fabber starts to build as the commander also moves in towards the front lines trying to defend on the
It's
back side of the
reclaiming!
base.
It's reclaiming the bot factories, it's not building at all. But Matiz does
Oh.
not know it's there, he cannot see it. All he sees is a bot factory disappearing and another one
dear.
disappearing. Oh, this is perfect sabotage. Who needs DPS when you can just stop the units in the first place? That's fantastic.
Air fabbers have, I think, 60 build power, so they can get rid of those factories pretty damn quick, certainly quicker than the units, and down they all go now. So all of this production now going down. He was leading 20 to 10, and he's now sitting at 16 to 14. So he's really losing that production advantage, and he's now beginning to build umbrellas in his base as docks also move immediately through the front. Still more units streaming in from those factories so they can push him back for now. And now just moving through, consistently building more and more, but the eco going very slowly for Matiz at the moment, taking a very long time to get rid of those anchors as even more fabbers come in, so we're going to see more and more coming in, and none of these anchors getting close to being finished yet. Not sure why it's taking quite so long to build those.
The umbrellas or the anchors, because the umbrellas, they were getting reclaimed at the same time as they were getting built, and of course they were getting reclaimed faster than they were getting built, hence why they sort of disappeared. But now we've got fabbers all over the base. Looking at the factory tab now, 13 to 15, Elodea is beginning to pull away. Matiz still has a presence on the field though. Looking at Elodea's base, he's managed to move all of his units down to the rear to defend against Matiz. He's obviously been doing a little bit of raiding there. But Elodea does have the radar of that and vision, of course. But Matiz pushing in a little bit on the front door there. But and the umbrellas are complete now as well, so that's another bonus.
Yeah, right on the front door we see all the units have actually been rallied to the backside where Matiz has been doing raiding and actually really hemming Elodea in, and his units at the front have just taken care of nice 5 or 6 mechs there, a couple of grenadiers coming in to give support, but defensive units now coming in and continuing the push. Has he got any of these umbrellas up yet? They're still struggling to build them, I think.
They are. There is one in the centre of the base. Yeah, and a deep space
radar now, yeah, so that's helping him out. But really, we're just going to see more and more reclaiming going on from Elodea. Nice strats there, particularly powerful with the HP bonus that the factories have at the moment. Still trying to squeeze through the middle, but more units already been built and ready to defend there for Matiz, so he's not going to be too lucky there. And wow, a big push from Elodea on the back. He actually destroys all of those units trying to sneak around the back for Matiz, so the game has been totally opened up for Elodea, and options are quickly disappearing for Matiz as he trails 10 factories to 2 at the moment.
Yeah,
no,
he
10
has
factories to 20.
He has queued up an orbital launcher at the same time though, but Anchor's getting focused down now as well on the front line, so he's not going to be able to expand out there again with fabbers or factories, because the Anchors are going to be there to stop that expansion. Plus Elodea is now moving in with his own units, so Matiz is going to get pushed back into his original enclave, and that's going to open up for Elodea to expand and expand and expand some more.
Interestingly, Matiz is actually still leading on eco. He just has a production problem right now because he's expanded around the back, got some of his mechs building up some production areas here, and this big swarm of units on the offside of the planet from Elodea coming through and going to ruin all of that for him and put Matiz behind again. As right at the front gates we see a whole load of units also coming through, and just so little production right now for Matiz, going to be difficult for him. Currently got Avengers and a second orbital factory on the go as well, but I think he really needs the commander up here with Uber cannons. This is the only way he's going to stop this sheer force of units that are coming in here, and the commander is now moving northwards, and this is kind of his last stand. You never know how things will go if he can defend against this attack, but unfortunately he sends all of his docks in there, so he loses all of them, and the commander isn't there to give in that Uber charge right now, so he's definitely going to lose some of his stuff. Down goes that umbrella. Units now coming in, pushing forward. In comes the commander. Got to be careful because he can take a lot of damage as well. Doesn't want to Uber cannon that wreckage. He doesn't. He gets a nice little hit there.
I think this might be a really key moment here, because that orbital launcher did go down. He did manage to get out a couple of Avengers before it went down though, but the Anchors are there. They are a big threat to those Avengers. As long as he can snipe these fabbers, which he is doing, he has got 3 fabber kills there, but now of course the door is open wide at the front, and the back door is about to be knocked upon as the docks are area patrolled, interestingly, around the back there, which is really going to start worrying Matiz, though he is getting his factories back up to the south of his base. So looking at the factory tab, 21 to 22, he's equalised on the factories yet again.
He did lose some metal, but he's not trailing by that much. Still 230 to 300 at the moment, so he's not too far behind. It's just really Elodea hasn't taken too much damage, so he's just going to keep getting further ahead. If we look at the army tab again, sitting on 22 factories each.
However,
a surprise.
looking at the unit count, 100 to 380, 400. So Elodea 4 times the army there that Matiz has got, which is not good news at all for Matiz. Not
Yeah,
at all.
I mean, if Matiz can keep getting favourable confrontations, then you never know, he might start catching up on production, but really, he's losing some of his areas of his base, losing some of his eco here, and if he gets much further behind, it's going to be too hard to get back on his feet, even though he's really valiantly trying to get that build production on the go.
I think he really needs to put up some walls with that commander. I think that might help him. I genuinely do.
Some walls could definitely really help all over the place, to be honest. But he can't turtle up too hard either, or he'll end up losing all these mechs that he's got outside on the map that are now being raided as he falls below 200 medal income, and Elodea now beginning to approach 400. This is a pretty big deficit now between the two players. Lots of units still heading in through the main gate here, but Commander's still holding off and units being produced. A couple of turrets going up as well. Commander not getting an uber cannon off here, needs to be a little bit careful taking damage. Gets one off. But still more units streaming in for Elodea.
Yeah, down to about 60-70% of his health there. So he is taking damage, and all that Elodea needs to do is just keep moving those docks in, keep doing that damage, and eventually, over time, he will kill that commander just because of unit numbers alone. And now Matiz moving out with his commander. I think he's just going to Rambo in. I think he knows this is the end, because this is a really bad move for him. So I think he knows he's gone. So much damage to that commander, now to 30% health.
Boombots coming in there and trying to get their hits on the commander, almost make it, not quite. Another uber cannon comes off, manages to stop them as they start getting closer.
So many boombots!
Down on 3%,
On he goes! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new king of the planet. Elodea takes the crown. Wow. Wowee.
What a turn up for the books, eh? Matiz finally loses. And Elodea does very well, managing to dethrone the king for the first time in many months.
That was fantastic, and I think genuinely it was the patch that went out yesterday. I think that probably tipped the scales as well.
Definitely think it helped. But it's just very well prepared from Elodea, so I guess we should grab some people in here and see what people thought.
Incoming Matiz.
We'll start with, we'll start with Matiz.
Hello there, Matiz.
Hello.
So, how did that go for you?
Still, it took them like 4 or 5 months, so I consider satisfied. Yeah.
You had a long reign and you're satisfied.
That was fun. That was really fun. Yeah, this time I got clearly outplayed. It's it's a couple of things. I wasn't practicing for 2 or 3 months recently. I wasn't prepared for this patch at all, and Elodea clearly was. And each game I was just surprised by him, by his just better play. Like in second game, I was surprised that the amphibious, the bots are amphibious and stuff. And in third game, I got surprised by orbital. And it was all very smart, all very well done, and I believe Elodea might be the best player right now. Yeah, I think he might be. Because he is complex in terms of macro and micro, and he's smart and he's good. So I believe I still can. I still, if I put enough practice, I might be better than him. I probably will be, but I don't know when will I have enough time, because now I have to focus on my studies a little bit more. We will see, but when I focus back on PA, when maybe there will be some fun patch, or the game will be more polished, then definitely I will practice much more, and then maybe get my revenge. But yeah, I think he's another guy who might be pretty long reigning as the king of the.
Fair play, a gracious loser, Matiz, and genuinely congratulations on a very long reign. I think you've done very well in King of the Planet.
Thanks, it was pretty cool ride, and thanks for cheering me, and and watching and making PA esports grow. So keep watching, because you know, if you care about PA, then everyone who watches makes the difference. The more people watch tournaments, it's easier to get sponsored for maybe Exodus or anyone else. So keep watching and keep cheering for us, and thanks a lot for everything.
Thank you, Matiz.
Should we bring in Elodea?
I think bringing Elodea is a good idea.
Hello there, Elodea.
Hello.
All hail the king.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that seemed a bit easier than I thought it would be. Are you lagging or something?
No, I was just it was I was just unprepared completely, and you just played very well, and I deserved it.
Okay. Because I was just wondering, like, you didn't seem to expand much. That was kind of weird.
I don't know how to expand in this patch, you know, for some reason. I don't get the idea. I either make too many units, or I either make too many fabbers, and I still don't get the balance between both of them, and that makes me like yeah, I die from either this or that. So this game I made a lot of fabbers, and well, I think I'm watching replay right now, and I was in decent shape, but then the orbital caught me completely off guard. Yeah, I didn't know that you can reclaim stuff so fast with those guys. They are so good.
Yeah. They're better
That's
than
also my
T2.
idea. Yeah, I used them with some success in assisting my own buildings, because they are just so much efficient. But I didn't think that I could enemy buildings. So that's a great idea, I think. So yeah, the meta game will be quite interesting, to be honest. Docks and orbital fighters. That's gonna be interesting.
I was actually hoping it might go to a fourth match, actually, because I had a really I had a surprise planet for you.
Oh, what kind is
and
that?
it was basically at 7 minutes, one of the moons on one of the orbiting planets would smash into the main planet, and you needed to get into a orbital Astraeus.
Oh, wow. Like, I am not sure whether I understood correctly. If we play on that planet that we played, if the game dragged on for a longer time, it would explode like randomly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if planets collide incidentally in their orbits now, they do actually do a planet smash and deal damage around the planet.
That's genius, man. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I would be probably insanely surprised. Yeah.
It's a bit unfair though, like if you don't know that it's gonna smash.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good idea to take advantage of preparing moons. Systems. I never really bothered to prepare systems anyway, so I think everything that happened was pretty much deserved in this KOTP. So
You didn't know about the
Congratulations.
slammers, did you?
sorry.
You didn't know about the slammers with the torpedoes?
Yeah, and I didn't know, but I didn't even know that. Well, I knew that Doxys can go underwater, but I didn't realize that might be so good, and it would own water completely. So, like, yeah, basically every game, there was like element of surprise, which I tried to fight back, but it wasn't. It was just such a huge advantage that yeah, but that's how metagame works. Someone knows a little bit more about some stuff, and then he abuses it. And
Good stuff. Well, Milk Dragon, are you here?
Oh yes.
Do you want to say anything else about the games before we begin to sign off?
Besides, this one was probably the one that was going into Matiz's favor the most. Till that orbital came in and destroyed 12 of his factories, then it was just downhill. He probably actually Matiz probably would have won the game because those orbitals was actually taking up a lot of Elodea's eco.
Yeah, I'm watching replay right now, and there was a moment when I had 50 metal income advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did
And-
have a slight eco advantage. It was just
Yeah.
the production was the problem, I think, throughout this game.
Yeah, and at some point I had also 50 dogs more or even more. But yeah, that's obviously because he spent money on orbital. If I just scouted this, I would probably react and be in good shape, but I didn't really know it's coming, and I should have made just at least one air factory. And what I see right now in the replay is that Elodea didn't really expand. Even though my
Yeah.
expansions were being taken out, it was still pretty okay for me because I was making them and I was getting money, and then I was losing, but still I was kinda advantage probably. But yeah, well, I'm actually watching at 11-minute mark, and I'm over 100 metal income more. Although I'm wasting a lot because I lost production. So
Yeah, it's because I was counting on getting the middle income from you. With the
Right.
reclaim.
You what? You were going to get reclaim from him, from his units.
oh,
Yeah, so like when I reclaim his factories, I get middle income. So that's
Yeah.
why I wasn't really expanding too much.
oh, yeah, that makes
'Cause-
sense.
For me, there's no point in expanding when I can't really defend it.
Yeah. Well, you can defend, I guess, if you just.
If you use tanks.
No, well, I think tanks suck. I'm not sure, but I think they're bad. But you know, with the turrets and factories, I think it's possible to expand. It's just kind of hard to actually.
Yeah, it's a lot slower, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like it's new. And the game after this patch feels completely different in terms of economy and balance of units and engineers and factories, and that's.
Do you think you would consider Inferno docks?
I think Infernos are way too slow.
That's true.
Yeah, and then if I saw Infernos, I would just go around. Unless this is a very small planet, then maybe. But on planet of this size, I don't think Infernos make sense. I think it's mostly dogs versus dogs because just of the mobility and efficiency. Tanks are actually slightly better in direct fight, but it's way too slow. I think speed is actually a very important factor, and it is. Quite a bit about expanding, so if you don't have.
Yeah, you just can't hold map control.
So who is going to be your next opponent? Oh yeah, who would you
well,
want to have?
We didn't think that you'd ever lose, Matiz. We didn't prepare for this. No, we'll find a worthy opponent to try and challenge the new king.
And what are rules about re-challenging? Or are you so fed up of
Re-challenging already?
Well, you had a good run, Matiz.
Okay, alright.
I'm not saying everyone's sick of you, but everyone's sick of you.
Yeah.
No. I'm sure there are chances for you to retake your crown, but I think it'd be nice to see some other people at the
Yeah,
top.
absolutely, I agree. I was
compete.
just teasing.
I'm sure we'll see you again, Matiz. I'm sure we will.
I don't mind playing him again though, if he wants to challenge.
Yeah, well, I don't mind too, but I definitely think there should be more people that have a chance.
Yeah, not for next week, but sure Matiz will be back.
Mhm.
Okay, I think.
Is this-
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, don't worry.
I think we're going to wrap up the stream here, so we'll say goodbye to you guys and wrap up the stream. Hey, goodbye to those guys. Thanks to everyone for watching. I have been ZaphodX,
And I've been the Marshall.
and we are here with the King of the Planet, hosted by ExodusEsports.com. If you want to watch any of these games again, if you missed some of them, or you want to watch them again in 1080p, then you can view them on the ExodusEsports.com website. And we also have every game from every tournament in PA